Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. Today we've got a very special video for you. Today we're talking about my updated opinions on New Horizons, but since we want to actually get views on our channel and make this, a topical hip-hoppin' place to be for Nintendo fans, we're framing this video around one essential question. Is Animal Crossing New Horizons still fun 6 months later? Now, Tucker got way bigger into Animal Crossing New Horizons than I did.
Yeah,
However, going into New Horizons, I was the much bigger Animal Crossing fan.
true.
However, if you watched our earlier video, Card in the Corner, Animal Crossing New Horizons
One of
was
those.
not the Animal Crossing game I wanted at all. I'm not even going to elaborate. I want you to fucking have to go watch that video because it's a wonderful video. Didn't get enough views. Go check it out. It's really
hmm
worth your time. But Tucker's put, what? You've put over, how many hours do you have in this goddamn game?
Maybe 150. I don't know.
Okay, so I have 40.
hmm
As of the
There's a
time,
difference, yes.
as of the time of recording, which is September 9th, on September 8th, KK Slatter arrived at my island for the first time. So,
He probably showed up on mine on like March 27th, March
right,
29th, something
because
like
that's
that.
when he was supposed to arrive.
Yeah, if you were playing the
Uh,
game consistently.
my fucking Animal Crossing New Horizons hype fucking roller coaster came up and then fell off really quickly a couple days after launch. I put the game down for a while.
Yep.
I came back very briefly, like towards the middle of quarantine when everything was just absolute hell and there's nothing left to live for.
hmm
And then I dropped off the game again, and I popped back into it just about a week ago because I bought my third copy of the game. And this one was for my girlfriend because it'd be a fun game for us to play together. She's been playing a little bit, and I was like, hey, you know what? If I bought it for her, I should be playing actively again myself. So,
Reasonable.
I work on my island. I got my fucking Island of Val up high enough to get KK to visit, repping the fucking boy himself right here.
hmm
DJ KK shirt. Purchasable at the happiest place on earth, Nintendo New York. Haven't been to in a long time. Very sad about it. The fact is, I'm not sad about New Horizons anymore because I have to say,
Okay.
it's not the game I wanted. It's not even really, I think, the sequel to New Leaf that propels the franchise in the direction that its design was pushing it in. It's a very
Mm.
different entity. It's a very different type of game, and I'm still waiting for what I feel is my true Animal Crossing fix. Maybe we'll get Animal Crossing GameCube on a Switch Virtual Console or something. Who knows?
That's possible.
But Tucker Hazel,
Yes.
my dear friend, wearing earth tones today, the fucking
hmm
terracotta colors. I really enjoy New Horizons.
I'm very happy that you do. We actually have two Animal Crossing videos on our YouTube channel. I don't know if you know
Is
this,
that true?
but we made a 1 week in for
Oh
Animal
wow.
Crossing New Horizons, significantly before we actually started giving a shit about this channel, which I wanted to confirm. So, and yes, that is true. Um, but Animal Crossing New Horizons is a game that showed me why I love Nintendo again. It had been a while. I had been out of it sort of since the middle of 2019. I liked Sword and Shield, but I didn't think it was fantastic. I didn't play Luigi's Mansion 3 when it came out. All those
Shame.
games didn't really connect with me since Fire Emblem Three Houses. But Animal Crossing New Horizons showed me what Animal Crossing could be in a actually entertaining and fun way. And it showed me that there is something to look forward to on my Switch. And I played it almost every day for 3 months straight. And I think that the fact that I did not continue playing after 3 months is not a detriment to the game. It's the fact that I realized there's other things to do with my life. There was homework to do. There was moving to another state. There was movies to watch. There was other games to play. So, and I still do hop in almost, I'd say a couple times every 2 weeks, maybe. I definitely pop in on the first of every month to catch all the bugs and the fish and to see what new items are in the shops. I really enjoy occasionally hopping on with friends. You and I played together. I mean, I
Yeah.
always check the new updates that come out, even if they're not very big. I think it's fun to just see anything new that they add. So this game for me, 6 months later, it's fun because I'm able to continually go back and collect bugs and fish, which is my favorite aspect of the game. And also the fact that they do keep updating it, even if just in small ways. But I do think that this game will continue to grow. And I think 2021 will be the year where it really hits its stride in terms of new content being added. And that's why I think even 6 months later, there's stuff to look forward to.
Well, I think, well, to that point in particular, we're in a really weird position where you can't time travel ahead and see what's coming for Halloween and for Thanksgiving
Yeah,
and Toy Day and all this stuff, or I
which
guess
I
the
think is a
Harvest
good
Festival.
thing.
It raises the question: what happens when the servers go offline eventually? But that's not even a consideration I really care to discuss right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
You mean like 5 years from now, 6 years from now?
yeah, I mean the same way, like my fucking bad boy. Oh God, my arm! I'm twisting in a bad way. Ow, ow! I broke my arm. Ow! This still works. Population growing. People thought maybe the clock was. People thought the Animal Crossing world was going to end in 2020 when the clock ticked over. You can still play it. It's fine. But we don't know, like, big picture what'll happen to New Horizons. But the fact is, in the moment, it's very cool not knowing what's going to happen. And some spicy data mines have showed some cool stuff, like maybe
Yeah.
farming and cooking and some really interesting systems I think could tie pretty clearly into like a Harvest Festival type event where you're helping Franklin make the fucking dinner, you fucking basting the turkey and things of that nature with new cooking systems. So I think there's a lot of room for the game to grow. I think you're completely right about that. And I think it's going to grow faster than you think. I think we're going to, this fall, start to really get into some fun new content.
I would love that.
But I think one thing you mentioned is that we played this game together. And
One night randomly.
one night, yes, but that's part of a larger point I'm striking in the distance of. I've finally, on this third attempt to really get into the game, I've played a little bit more socially.
Hmm.
Played it with you, played it with my girlfriend. It's clear that the developers intended for New Horizons to be a multiplayer experience in the way that the past games weren't.
Yeah.
New Leaf had more connectivity. I think New Leaf actually, in some ways, has better connectivity. Like, I love the island mini games. Fucking my guy, shout out to Cap'n. Shout out
Hmm.
fucking Cap'n. He should be back. He's not. I'm sad about it. Um, but really, getting to see each other's islands gives a lot of incentive and motivation to work on your own. And
Yeah.
playing it as a multiplayer experience, I think, is clearly the way that this was designed to be played, in a way that I think multiplayer in Animal Crossing prior always felt like more of an afterthought, more of a
Yeah.
supplemental part of the gameplay experience instead of a core aspect of it.
Uh-huh.
And coming to recognize that, I think I've come to appreciate a lot of what the game does a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think you can look back in one of the two videos that I talked about this in, is that this game was a social experience for me. The reason I connected with it so hard, and I didn't with New Leaf, even though I still have 40, 45, 50 hours in that game, which is a lot for any
I have
game.
200.
I don't give a shit. But is that I got into this game, and because it was a cultural zeitgeist and almost everyone I knew was playing it, and I have many, many friends who bought their Switches just for Animal Crossing. And I played it with friends almost every day, and I was trading items, and we were talking about the stock market, and we were sharing screenshots and, oh, look what I just got, all this stuff. The fact that that game turned into such a social phenomenon in a way that I had not really played uh, a non-competitive multiplayer game before is, I think, the reason it connected with me. And the social aspect that you're now getting into, I think, is not necessarily the game is the strongest because it doesn't have fantastic online options, but the overall socialness of the game and the fact that you can send messages and you can trade and you can visit anyone's island, and the fact that online and the online community is so vibrant even to this day, I think is what it's. That's why the game really is as impactful as it has been.
I mean, look, it's online. It's no 51 worldwide Clubhouse games, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to be that good. But what I think it does is not only incentivizes you to play together, but incentivizes you to play by yourself so you can fucking one up your friends in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you were saying, you're trading your items and doing things of that nature. Half the reason I'm very meticulously putting down a very nice arched stone path around my town right now is because I want to have you over. I want to have my girlfriend over and have you guys go, whoa, look at that fucking path,
Mm-hmm.
dog. Look at that island. And I think in the context of it being a little bit more of a connected experience, I can better appreciate the way that this game focuses more heavily on customization.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in the other video, which I said I wasn't going to fucking tell you my thesis of because I want you to give us more views, I didn't really like the way that the design philosophy was more about giving the player to control to an extent where you were the god of your island, opposed to
Mm-hmm.
being a member of it. but I'm kind of starting to vibe with that a little bit more. I think the Island Designer app is a lot of fun. I think it's a little bit tedious to use, to be
Yeah,
honest. It's a little bit tedious, but it's fun to construct my little fucking play space
yeah,
and have my bizarre villagers, like my goddamn bear named Klaus, who thinks he lives in ancient Rome, and all of
yeah.
my other weird villagers. I like the weird villagers. I like the repellent ones. Those are the ones that really I find compelled to have visit my island. And Hamlet. Shout out to Hamlet. But I find myself wanting to hop into it now every day, even if it's just for 20, 30 minutes a day to see what's in the shops, put down a little bit more of a path, work on little outdoor spaces. I've got this fucking awesome little like beachfront fucking campfire area I got going on.
Mhm.
I got all kinds of things in the works, right? And I think that once we became removed from the zeitgeist as you were talking about, and it's still
Yeah,
there. There's still an active community, but it's settled down a little bit.
of
I
course.
think I'm able to better appreciate what the game does and better understand what it is, opposed to what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it's given me just a new outlet and a new way to get into the experience.
And honestly, I think that's pretty much ideal. I mean, that's what I wanted you to have since the beginning, since you were like, I'm a real Animal Crossing fan. This isn't my Animal Crossing. Hashtag not my Animal Crossing. Um, but I do think that there are things to be said with the fact that the Island Designer is essentially the post game. You know, the credits roll when you get KK Slider, but the game really does open up as soon as you beat the game.
Well,
Um,
that's funny you say that because the post game actually feels more like just regular Animal Crossing to me.
exactly, and that's one of the points that I was making in one of our earlier videos is that the charm of this game, in my opinion, is grinding up and building from the ground up to get to what Animal Crossing was known as. You
Yeah.
have to get everything together, and I feel like that makes everything that you do have more impactful. The fact that you have to build each of your villager houses, you have to, clean up and decide where things go in a certain way, and you have a story behind everything. Like, okay, I remember putting my museum there. I remember Mabel and Label and fucking Abel sisters coming around, and I told them where to live. This is my place, and you have a more. I believe that you have more of a connection to it because you had to work for everything, and it wasn't already just there for you. I was gonna say something else. I can't remember what it was now. I went on a different tangent, but I
Well,
think
else,
that's a
yeah,
reason.
I'll hop off of your point for what you just said, and I think that's true. I think it's interesting how spiritually it feels like the mayor concept from New Leaf was expanded upon.
Yeah.
To a sense where you're no longer the mayor, you're just a fucking heavenly creator himself, putting together this goddamn island for your fucking cow named Stu with his dumb fucking purple head and horns.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm still having trouble with the fact personally that I liked Animal Crossing because it was me joining a community and feeling accepted into a community of um, digital animals, but still a community. Instead of building it myself, I think it's just a different experience. And the first one felt a little bit cozier to me, and part of what drew me to it, it felt like a little pocket of a world that I could step into whenever I wanted, and that was just my little place. I had my little corner there. Now I don't have the corner. I've got the fucking whole kit and caboodle. Pardon my language.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I enjoy that. It's just a different appeal. But I am finding it a little bit more palatable now. I think a little bit of distance helped, and I think there's something to be said for certain games just not hitting you at the times they release.
Sure. I mean, there's plenty of games where I wish I'd played them when they came out because I enjoyed them so much when I played them later, but I don't think that necessarily hinders your experience as long as you enjoy it. And there's also something to be said that a lot of games do get better with time in terms of patches to fix, bugs or glitches, to add additional content, to things that come out after the game and make it a more rotund experience. And I do think
Rotund.
that New Horizons has that. One of the things that we talked about in your Animal Crossing is overrated, or New Horizons is overrated video, is that you were not a fan of the way that they've decided to release content for this game, at least thus far, is that they've mostly been adding things that were previously features in other games. And my rebuttal to that was that the game was feature rich when it came out,
Hmm.
but they decided to continually add things that people were wanting to re-up the interest in the game and give the community consistent moments to connect on with each new feature being added. And I do think that will grow into the future as we get new things. If farming and cooking and things that haven't been in games before can even take this game to another level. So I think that they have this sort of sine wave of excitement where every time it lowers, they add it, but I think add something new. But I think that we're getting a little bit lower, but once they start adding new content, it'll spike right back up. And I think that was really by design, and I think that it actually ended up helping the game in terms of its longevity, in terms of its community building.
So I think you're right in the overarching sense, but on a gut level, I think it's incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one point that I really do still hold to since that past video completely.
Yeah,
Is that I just think that the way that old features have been brought back puts an emphasis on them to an extent where you realize how mechanically thin any individual aspect of Animal Crossing is.
sure.
And I just think something like diving operates a lot better when it is part of the experience instead of all of a sudden, okay, you finished everything you can in the game. Now here's diving. Now just go dive. And you realize after 15 minutes, oh, it's literally just tapping A to swim faster and then Y to dive down.
Sure.
And I think if that stuff had been there at launch, it would have felt a little bit more of a holistic Animal Crossing experience, in my opinion. But I do think, like you're saying, we're dipping down again, and we're getting to the point where we're going to have to get that fall content
Yeah.
very soon, because Jack comes historically at the beginning of October. So we should be getting another video, maybe this week, maybe next week, with what's going to happen. Personally, my theory is we'll get another two-parter thing like the summer. Something in October with Jack and something in November with Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is where we could really start to see the new stuff and where it could
Yeah,
get really exciting.
I agree. I mean, for me, as someone who played a decent amount of New Leaf, and I feel like I understood the game's mechanics and the
Yeah.
overall vibe, but I didn't connect to it. This game grabbed me in a different way because I felt like I was building everything from the ground up, and that was more appealing to me. But the idea of getting a refresh with new content that the community can really grab onto and make this game feel like the hopefully the next gen Animal Crossing that even someone like you it has been wanting, even in the hashtag not my Animal Crossing world that you live in. But man, I honestly can't remember most of the leaks. I remember looking at them, but I can't remember much of what it was, which is exciting to me. I think I'll try to avoid that as much as I can. But the fact that they have been dropping those fun little update videos with the very soothing music and calming voiceover, it definitely gives the game a vibe that I definitely dig, especially because it's so different from everything else that I've been playing.
Well, it's also a good time for that vibe right now because we're both starting up school again. I find myself incredibly stressed out with the fucking acre of work I have to do every day. So getting to hop in Animal Crossing a little bit from that perspective has been really nice.
Yeah.
And that's, again, like I was saying, different games just hit you differently at different times. To use the word different fucking 18 times like a goddamn moron. I just think that a lot of stars aligned for me to be more into Animal Crossing New Horizons right now than I was before.
Yeah.
And we're gonna update this video again, most likely.
Yeah,
We'll probably
sure.
fucking do a year from now video.
Oh.
And who knows, Tucker?
Mm.
It's very possible that we'll be discussing this again in a best games of 2020 video.
It is certainly possible.
And it's also actually, I don't know what I'm fucking saying. We're gonna react to whatever goddamn fall update happens probably next week. So
yeah, of course.
there'll be plenty of Animal Crossing content from us. But I think that's all I have to say for now.
Yeah.
I'm digging it more. Repping fucking KK, ride or die KK boy here. 40 hours in, he made it to my island. 40 hours and 6 months in, it fucking happened. Listen to his nice little song.
Yeah.
Very good, very pleasant experience.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad that you're getting into it, and I hope that we can connect over it in the future as well, because we did not play a lot together. We've played a handful of times, but I think that making it a more consistent thing that we can show each other our islands, and I can maybe get back into it as a little more as well, reviving my communal aspect. It'll be fun, and I'm excited to see what comes in the future.
To be fair, I think part of my reason for following off was that you sent me a letter that said, see, you can send other islands letters, dumbass, and you included a flat tire as a present. And that kind of put me off of the game for a little bit, you know.
I apologize. It's all my fault.
It's all your fault. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. We haven't been saying it too much recently, but go fucking subscribe to our goddamn channel. We're almost at 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
We're going to do something very special. We haven't even planned it yet, but something special will happen.
We are? Okay.
Join our Discord server, link in the description. We
It's
have one of
true.
those now. We
Yeah.
have members in it. There is a Backlog Banter community.
Yep. It's
There
it's
really
it's
is.
two people that aren't
But they're
people
cool
we already
people.
previously know. Yeah, they are cool people. Shout out to both of them. But I think we're about done
We
with this
almost made
video.
it through the video.
Yeah, but I think we're wrapping this one up.
Yes.
Don't forget us. Did you hear what I said?
I did hear it. I wanted to pretend I was frozen with you. I thought it'd be fun.
You were frozen.
No, I wasn't. Well, you were frozen. Fuck you. You're being very distracting today.
I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just sitting here. What the hell are you talking about? I'm not
Okay.
hanging. My tits aren't hanging out or anything. Jesus Christ.